Let's talk about ZeoCharge supercharged zeolite benefits, right? There's a number of things. Zeolite is famous for detox, but it does so much more, right? So one, it's just an incredible smart binder. It's able to remove toxic elements from your body while leaving the essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals alone, which we can prove from our case studies on zeolitelabs.com. But it binds to things like heavy metals, mercury, cadmium, lead. And in fact, in the case studies, we were able to show ZeoCharge was able to reduce the tissue level of all 15 metals, toxic heavy metals shown. So pretty amazing. It's able to reduce the tissue level of heavy metals. And we also know that zeolite's able to bind to things like mold toxins, like aflatoxins, ochratoxin A. It's able to bind to excess histamine. So in people that have with mast cell activation syndrome or people that have too much histamine, it can help reduce the load of histamine. Environmental toxicants, things like glyphosate it's able to bind to, even radioactive materials. So things like cesium and strontium. And in fact, zeolite was used commercially to help clean up the environment after the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. So interesting there. Zeolite's able to bind to metabolic waste products, things like ammonia, things like urea, things that can build up in the body if our natural detox processes are not working properly. And then also microbial waste products. So things like ammonia, again. So when we have things like yeast overgrowth or Lyme toxicity or something, a lot of times the microbes are causing a lot of symptoms because they're releasing waste products that are poisoning us, endotoxins, exotoxins. And the zeolite is able to bind to a number of those things, including ammonia, just to help to reduce the total toxic burden on the body. So in terms of detox, incredibly effective. Directly binds to a lot of toxic elements. Also has an indirect, ZeoCharge has an indirect detox effect, as we've seen with things like fluoride. Because it doesn't directly bind to fluoride, but zeolite has been shown to be protective against fluoride toxicity, and we've seen in our case studies that zeolite can actually bind to fluorine and remove tissue levels. It doesn't bind to it, but it removes the tissue levels. So there has to be some sort of indirect effect going. And I think what's happening is that ZeoCharge is so effective at removing so many toxic elements that the body starts naturally dumping all these other toxic elements just from tissue, because now there's room in circulation to receive them and the body feels comfortable to make them out of the body. So that's the nice thing. ZeoCharge can help people detox directly with a number of things, but also it has an indirect effect where it just gets the body's natural detox functions working properly. And that's really the key to an effective detox. So beyond detox, what else can ZeoCharge do? And what else can zeolite do? And there's a number of benefits. So one of the benefits of ZeoCharge is it acts as a very unique antioxidant. Right? So traditionally, antioxidants are used to combat oxidative stress, which is caused by excess free radicals. Right? Free radicals are unstable molecules that will wreak havoc on the body, resulting in cellular damage, inflammation, and just accelerated aging, right? Referred to as oxidative stress. And traditionally, people will take things like an antioxidant supplement, resveratrol, vitamin C, vitamin E, or something like that. And it goes in and it scavenges the free radical by donating an electron, which is fantastic. Right? But what it doesn't do is remove the cause of the free radical production, and it doesn't really help your body naturally combat free radicals better. Zeolite can do all three things, which is fascinating. So I think it's really probably the most powerful antioxidant in existence. One, it can directly neutralize the free radicals, and it doesn't do so by donating an electron. It does so by trapping the free radicals in its cage and rendering them harmless. So it's very interesting. So it directly traps them, number one, so it's equivalent to the other antioxidants in that capacity, but it also can help reduce the amount of free radicals, the production of the free radicals in your body. Because when you have an increased amount of heavy metals, you're exposed to radiation, various other toxic elements, that results in more free radicals being produced in your body. So by removing the cause of the free radical production, you have less free radicals to begin with, which is fantastic. And then the third thing is just by helping your body better handle the total amount of free radicals present. So our bodies have natural defense systems called the total antioxidant capacity, which is your body's natural ability to combat free radicals, because we're always exposed to some level. And this system is comprised of things like glutathione, peroxidase, superoxide dismutase, or SOD, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, and various other things. And ZeoCharge can help elevate the levels of these nutrients in the body to help combat greater levels of free radicals. Because if your total antioxidant capacity is higher, you can handle more free radicals without resulting in oxidative stress. Because that's kind of the formula, right? When you have more free radicals being produced in your body than what your body can naturally handle, that's when you get this thing called oxidative stress, which equals accelerated aging and cell damage and inflammation, etc. So one, we want to increase the body's ability to handle it, which zeolite can do. Two, we want to remove the source of the free radicals. Zeolite can do that. And three, we want to directly bind to some free radicals in the process to prevent them from causing damage. Zeolite can do that too. So really cool. It's a very unique antioxidant, just a foundation for any sort of anti-aging protocol for sure. So another thing that zeolite can do is help with weight loss, right? So weight loss, sometimes people are doing the right things, they're eating right, they're exercising, but they're just not able to lose that last 5, 10, 15, or whatever amount of pounds it is. And sometimes it's because the body will not let you lose the weight because your body is using that belly fat or wherever that fat is as a storage unit for toxic elements. Because the body is storing toxins all over and it stores it in fat. But if you don't have, and sometimes the fat is actually protecting you, because if you don't have the belly fat, then the toxic elements end up in organs, which is not ideal. So if you have a higher load of toxicity and you have extra belly fat, your body might not want to let go of it. So if you take the ZeoCharge and help remove some of these toxic elements, a lot of people find that the fat just starts dropping off because their body doesn't need it anymore, because it doesn't need it as a storage unit for the toxic elements. Also, if your body is letting you remove the fat, sometimes it can be very toxic to you. So a lot of people lose weight, they become very toxic and sometimes get sick because they're mobilizing those toxins from the fat, and now they're in circulation, being exposed to the immune system and recirculating to new homes like organs. So if you're considering a weight loss program at all, I would say ZeoCharge is a very good product to use as a foundation, whether you're actively losing weight or you're kind of stuck and you're looking to lose more weight. ZeoCharge is an incredible product for regulating the immune system. There's a lot of great products out there. A lot of them involve kind of direct regulations, whether direct regulating mechanisms, whether it's a beta glucan or something. But zeolite helps remove some of the root causes of overactive immune responses. So for example, if someone is exposed constantly to mycotoxins from a moldy home or workspace, then they could take immune regulatory compounds, which may be helpful, but they're likely not going to be as helpful as ZeoCharge, because ZeoCharge is going to go in and bind to the mycotoxins, which will then calm down the immune system, because the immune system won't have to attack because they've been neutralized by the zeolite. Same things with mercury and other toxic elements. So by binding these toxic elements that are exposed to the immune system, it can have a profound effect on calming the immune system and just really calming the storm in the body. And when your immune system calms down, now you're in a better position to detox, because your body doesn't have to spend so much energy on that immune response, and then immune response equals inflammation. That's another thing. A lot of people go on zeolite and it greatly reduces their inflammatory load on the body, because when you have a strong immune response, inflammation results. So by calming the immune system down, inflammation often goes with it. And when inflammation goes away, a lot of times you feel better from any number of symptoms. ZeoCharge can be very effective for people experiencing brain fog. And a lot of time, brain fog can be caused by any number of things, but a lot of times there is some sort of toxic element involved, and ZeoCharge can just bind to that toxic element and just generally circulating around, preventing it from making its way to the brain. That can calm down the response. A lot of times it's things like ammonia, which is a waste product produced by the body, and if your liver's not working properly, then you can get a buildup of this stuff, and it can actually go to the brain and become toxic. And zeolite has a very strong bond to ammonia. So I think a lot of people that are experiencing brain fog, whether it be like Lyme brain or just general brain fog, it's because there's an increased amount of ammonia along with other toxic elements. And then when taking the ZeoCharge, it just helps grab those things, escort them out of the body, and the brain fog starts lifting. ZeoCharge can be very helpful for helping nutrient absorption, right? So it's not all about what's coming in our bodies that matters. It's about what happens once it's there. Are the nutrients being absorbed, transported to the proper place, and utilized effectively? So you could be eating the right foods, you could be taking the right whole food supplements, but if you've got some sort of toxicity that's blocking the absorption of these nutrients, that's going to have to be removed to get the most out of your whole foods and supplements. And for example, minerals and heavy metals often will compete for space in the cell. So if you've got a heavy toxic metal like cadmium that's made its home in one of your cells, whether it be bone or somewhere else, some tissue, and then you take a zinc product or you're getting zinc from food, the zinc might not be absorbing because cadmium is there as a placeholder. So it could result in a zinc deficiency. So removing the cadmium could help raise your zinc levels. Same with calcium and lead. If you have high levels of lead, a lot of times you have low levels of calcium. High levels of aluminum, low levels of silicone, etc. So basically, in order to properly address deficiencies, we usually want to work on deficiencies, remove the toxic element, so then the food you're eating becomes more nutritious, the supplements you're taking work better. So ZeoCharge can be greatly beneficial for improving nutritional status. ZeoCharge is one of the best supplements out there for digestive health and gut health. So just leaky gut, for example, it's been said that all disease begins in the gut. People with autoimmunity generally have leaky gut or digestive issues. And there's a lot of great products and protocols to help restore gut function. But if the underlying irritants that are constantly irritating the gut lining are not addressed, those protocols are generally not going to have long-term positive effects, right? They might need to be continued on forever, or they might just not even work that effectively. So a foundation to that protocol, or an addition to, is ZeoCharge might be profoundly helpful in that it can remove a lot of these irritating substances that are damaging the gut lining and causing that permeability or leakiness of the gut. In terms of just digestion in general, a lot of people report greatly improved digestion, whether it's constipation that's been relieved from the ZeoCharge or diarrhea that's been relieved. Very interesting. And I think it's just because it's one of those things that goes in, reduces the irritants, that reduces the inflammation, and then things just start going to balance in the body. So whatever the digestive issue is, a lot of times it starts balancing just from ZeoCharge. So that's a very pleasant effect that a lot of people notice when taking ZeoCharge. ZeoCharge is a unique pH regulating substance, right? It's an alkaline mineral by nature, but it actually has the unique ability, zeolite, to regulate pH levels. So they did a study, they put zeolite in an alkaline environment, an alkaline glass of water, and it lowered the pH. They put zeolite in an acidic glass of water and it raised the pH. So it has a regulatory effect on the pH levels in the body, which is very interesting. So it is marketed by some for pH regulating effects. Another thing is that when you have toxic elements that your body is facing, it a lot of times draws on your natural pH and can alter things in a negative way. So by removing those root cause toxic elements, the body's pH can just naturally start returning to balance. ZeoCharge can be very helpful for people that have chronic skin issues, whether it's an autoimmune skin disorder like psoriasis or eczema, or it's just chronic acne or something else. Because if it's an autoimmune response, then if ZeoCharge goes in and grabs onto some of the immune triggers, whether it be some sort of toxic element like a metal or a mycotoxin or whatever, if it removes those, that's going to calm down the immune system, and that's going to result in clearer skin. If it's chronic acne, that's generally related to some sort of toxicity, potentially a hormone imbalance. And as ZeoCharge goes in and starts cleaning up the environment of the body, things just tend to start balancing. And as things balance in the body, symptoms start clearing up, things like skin. So it's something to consider if you are going through some sort of skin, having some sort of challenges with clear skin.